guys, this is Dana, and this is episode number 66 of the Ask a Question show, the show in which you ask a question about any type of narcissistic or otherwise abusive or toxic relationship or situation, and I, along with the rest of the community here, will do our very best to help answer it. Our goal is to give you the feedback and the support that you need so that you can move forward in getting all of the clarity, closure, and healing possible. And today's question comes from Anonymous, and Anonymous asks, Dear Dana, can you speak a little bit about narcissistic parents and hoovering? With the holidays coming up, my mother has been trying to contact me and wants to spend Christmas with me. My friends and my family are also pushing me, thinking that it's Christmas and she's your mom, and that I need to somehow reopen communication with her. So, right. Well, this is really common. Holidays, birthdays are really common. A lot of people, these types of relationships are really hard to explain to people that haven't gone through it. And everybody has their own idea of kind of what abuse is. And unless the person is, most people, when they think of abusive relationships, they think of a female victim and they think of a male abusive partner. And they think of it more in terms of a relationship, like spousal abuse, right? Like domestic violence. But they don't think about it necessarily in terms of a mother being abusive to her child or a wife being abusive to her husband. And there's many reasons for this, but it's really difficult to explain to other people kind of what is like verbal abuse, what is emotional abuse, what is psychological abuse, because it doesn't leave bruises. And so a lot of people tend to they don't want to deal with that. And especially around holidays, there's this family pressure of everybody needs to somehow get along. And they don't talk about the elephant in the room, which is this abusive person that is a member of the family. So let me kind of recap as far as what hoovering is for those that are not familiar with this term. The term hoovering is named after the Hoover vacuum, and it's a term that It's a technique that's done by manipulative people. It's designed to reopen communication with the intention of sucking the victim back into this relationship. And so a hoover is done after the victim has gone no contact, generally, with this abusive person. So if they're no longer talking to this abusive person, the abusive person might and it tends to be very kind of like innocent communication, where the victim often feels like they're overreacting if they don't respond to it. Because it might be something like, hey, I'm thinking about you, or it's Christmas, how about we try to get along, or happy birthday, and the hoovering attempts tend to escalate if the victim continues to ignore them. So then it might progress to, I'm really concerned about your father, or I heard that your brother's failing out of college. Or it's something to get the person's attention, to get them to respond. And it can escalate. It's not uncommon for them to say, I'm concerned that I might have cancer, or I'm concerned that I'm having a heart attack right now, or I'm suicidal. Kind of the intensity, increases as long as the victim tends to ignore them. So, narcissistic people of all kinds, parents, children, spouses, friends, neighbors, you name it, tend to do this hoovering, right? Because it's their way of, they want to continue their game. They want to continue using and abusing people in their life. And holidays, a lot of people tend to really fall into this because you have other, there's no shortage of well-intended bad advice out there from people that are, well-intended. So they want people, in theory, yeah, it'd be so great if everybody could just get along or kind of what have you. But those that are in an abusive dynamic, they know what they're in for. They know that, okay, you've got this parent who's abusive. This parent's probably going to try to isolate them in the kitchen and say snarky comments, or they're gonna do something that's most likely abusive, right? And so the victim doesn't want to be around it, and that's why they've gone no contact. So just know that you do not have to keep an abusive person in your life. It is totally okay for you to have that boundary and to not stick around to be mistreated. So yes, anticipate. All any of us can do is to anticipate what we think this person is going to potentially do, what we kind of what you need to do in order to stay safe and sane, what you need to do in order to have a good Christmas, right? So you can anticipate, okay, your mom's trying to re-enter your life. She's dangerous and destructive. You don't want to see her. You don't want to spend time with her. You don't even want to talk to her. You can let other people know, we don't have a relationship, and you can let them know as much or as little as you want. I would love to see you guys, but it needs to be when she's not there. I know that might sound kind of difficult. I don't mean to be difficult. It's just we have we don't have a relationship, and I don't want to be around her. So I would love to come over, after she leaves or before she gets there, or maybe we can just hang out on a totally different day, or we can do lunch or kind of whatever. And so here's kind of the other thing with having healthy boundaries. If you're in a dynamic with a family, especially where this is just kind of the norm, right? Like people have really bad behavior, and there's secrets, and there's lies, and there's, addiction and abuse and kind of what have you. And there's all these different elephants in the room. And families are just used to, you just don't talk about that. People don't react well when other people stop playing that game. And it's sort of like, you know what, this is nuts. Like, y'all are nuts. This is what's really going on here, and I'm not going to put up with it anymore. So when one person starts getting healthy and start having boundaries, other family members tend to not like that, because it upsets the balance of this like playing pretend that everybody wants to do for the sake of appearances, really is what it is. Because it's not, I was going to say that for the sake of peace, but there's not a lot of peace that comes with this, because everybody's dreading it. Everybody is anxious and nervous about it. Everybody's stewing about it. Everybody's kind of ruminating about it after the holidays are over. So there is no peace when you have toxic and abusive people. There's just a lot of like resentment and anger and fear and depression and anxiety. So nothing really good ever comes from it, but people sure pretend. We like to pretend that it does, right? I mean, I've got a lot of that in my own family. I think most people do. So do what you need to do in order to stay safe and sane. It's okay to have healthy boundaries. Realize that having healthy boundaries often does come with consequences. Other people are not probably going to be okay with it. And you have to get to the place where you are okay with them not being okay. And sometimes this involves, making other plans for the holidays, spending time with friends, spending time with family. That is okay with kind of dealing with what is. And maybe you guys just kind of branch off and do your own thing for the holidays. So I hope that helps. I'll be really curious to see if you guys have gone through, having a narcissistic parent, dealing with hoovering, dealing with holidays. How do you go about doing this? What's worked for you? What hasn't worked for you? So comment down below and we will go from there. Lots of love to you guys. You are not alone. You are not crazy, and you really can heal from this. So take care, and I will talk to you soon. Okay, bye.